Okay, Joel, we're rolling now. So, I'm just gonna sit here a little bit. So, what is it exactly that you do? What is your business consist of?
Well, I have a college degree in accounting and a master's degree in taxation, which is the line of work I really enjoy doing. I used to work for the Internal Revenue Service for a couple of years, and I got a lot of education about how the system works and how the IRS thinks. And now, one of the biggest things I'm doing is working with people who owe the Internal Revenue Service a lot of money. It's tax problem resolution. And more and more people are getting in debt to the Internal Revenue Service, and they don't really know what to do and how to do it. And that's the kind of work I've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years, most of it. And I've had businesses, I've had people who get caught up and just can't pay their debt. And there are a bunch of things we can do with them. It all depends on their current financial position. We do a financial analysis of what they have and what they own and what kind of equity they have in any property, if they have any. And then we put it all together. I have software that's designed just for that. And we see how they come out. Can we do an offer in compromise, or would they be able to get a payment plan? Now, generally, it depends, a lot depends on the amount of the debt as to how long you can get a payment plan for. We can go out to 72 months, paying out what you owe divided by 72. And I've had people that owed middle 6 figures, and we couldn't get them into a payment plan. We either had to go for an offer in compromise or take some other avenues. What we do when someone wants to hire me, we get a retainer and we sign an engagement letter that's 7 pages long because it covers an awful lot of things. And we get transcripts from the Internal Revenue Service after we get powers of attorney, and we find out exactly what they owe, because many people don't have an idea of how much money they really owe. Of course, they don't take into consideration penalties and interest that keep accruing. And the only way to know what they owe is to get a transcript of their account. And we do that, and then we go ahead and try and see if we can get an offer. They'll fill out a whole financial statement, maybe 6 to 8 pages worth, and it goes right back to me, but it fills in the software program. And that'll tell me whether they're going to be candidates for an offer in compromise or a payment agreement, and what other opportunities we might have. Years ago, the IRS used to negotiate with us. We could go in and say, well, my client owes $50,000. He's only got access to $22,000. Will you take it? Generally, they would, but now they do not negotiate anymore. You either do an offer in compromise, or you can't get anywhere. They just do not negotiate anymore. Now, payroll taxes are much more difficult to deal with than income taxes, because a lot of it is trust fund money, money that should have been given to the employees. And as a result, the fees are larger, and it's just a much more difficult process. And we evaluate what they're going to do, and if we come back and say, you're a good candidate for an offer in compromise, you meet the requirements, then we go ahead and file it. Now, once an offer in compromise is filed, the entire collection process stops. That's the good thing about it. Now, the other side of the coin is that your statute of limitations on the debt you owe is frozen until the offer is not accepted, or it's accepted, and then the rest of the money you owe goes away. If you get an offer in and it's accepted, the caveat that goes with an offer being accepted is that for the next 5 years, you must file all of your tax returns timely, and you must pay any taxes that are due. You can use that time for extensions as well, that's part of the game. And if you blow the deal and don't file your returns on time, the offer's gone. And I give people, when we get an acceptance on an offer, I read them the Riot Act that you must comply for 5 years. Now, bankruptcy for some people is an option, but it's only for individual taxes. You can file bankruptcy, you can claim bankruptcy for any taxes that are more than 3 years old. You can't do anything that's 2 or 3 years or 1 year old. You can't get rid of it in a bankruptcy. And that's basically how an offer works. What a lot of people do not understand is that it's not an instant process. It takes 2, 3 to 6 months before we even get the paperwork into the Internal Revenue Service. They have got 24 months to give us an answer. Yes, your offer is accepted. No, it's rejected for whatever reasons they reject it. But they have 2 years to decide. If they go past 24 months, your offer is considered to be accepted. I've never seen that happen, but that's the rules. And we can check on the status. There are 2 offer and compromise centers in the Internal Revenue Service. One's in Memphis, and the other one is in Holtzville, New York. It's Long Island. And we can always check on the status with the people who work there, and it's just a waiting game. Now, I've had some offers that weren't acceptable, and I've had some offers that went through right away. Probably the best offer I had ever done, somebody owed about $197,000. An insurance salesman, self-employed, and he was truly negative for several years because it was one of my clients and I knew his system was not good. So I got his current stuff, we filed it, and he had no ability to pay that $197,000. So we did an offer in compromise. The offer was made for $100, and it was accepted. And I got a call from the lady at the offer unit that they were accepting the offer, and I had to send her another signature sheet. She faxed it to me that afternoon. I faxed it back that day. 2 months later, we got the acceptance letter. Had another one, a lady in Texas who was in the oil business, and she lost her job. She was out of work for 13 months and had no prospect of getting another job. She had $200,000 equity in her condo and about $10,000 of equity in a car. And nobody would give her a loan, so she couldn't touch the equity. So when we decided what to do, I called her up and said, I want you to go to your bank and ask them for an equity loan on your house. And she says to me, Joel, they're not going to give it to me. I said, I know, that's the idea. I want the letter that's going to tell you they're not going to give you a loan. So she did go into the bank, applied for a loan. They told her no, and she got the denial letter, and I submitted that with the offer. She owed $48,000, and we got her off for $50, just because you can't make an offer for nothing. And that was wonderful. And it doesn't always happen that way. There are sometimes we don't get the results we want. Sometimes clients get very upset with us. They have very high expectations. A lot of these companies who do this kind of work are advertising on the radio, and they make it seem like it's an easy process. And they don't tell you how long it can take. They don't tell you what you need to do. And that's the type of obstacles we face because people hear these advertisements and they think we can do the same thing these people can do. And we can't, we don't, and won't. And that's basically is, in a nutshell, what the resolution work is. I've also enjoyed doing representation work for people who have gotten the love letter about being audited by the IRS. There are several different kinds of audits, and how we react and how we treat it depends on what they want. It's just a matter of getting copies of documents for the IRS or going down to the IRS to present my client's case. And one of my cardinal rules in this business is that once I'm hired to do an audit or any kind of representation work, my clients do not talk to the IRS. I don't let them go near the IRS because they're not trained in the proper way of talking to the IRS people. The IRS people have a way of learning a lot of things by just what you might think as simple conversational questions. So that's my rules. If you want to do it yourself, you get a new accountant. I will not allow it. And that's been proven to be true over the years. And in addition to my representation work and the resolution work, I also do accounting and tax returns. I do over 200 personal tax returns and several business tax returns. I do have business clients, small businesses, and I enjoy my work. I would say I enjoy almost every one of my clients. We get along well, and I try my best to help them and do the best we can so they're satisfied and the government's satisfied. It doesn't always work that way, but we do our best. And I promise my clients that I will do everything possible within the law to get their problems solved. And I tell them I will never do anything consciously that will put you or me at risk. I have a license to protect, and I'm going to keep it. It's how I earn a living. And what else can I tell you?
I tell you what, that's very good, very thorough.
Yeah. I have my bachelor's degree in accounting from Long Island University in Brooklyn, and my master's degree in taxation from Baruch College in City University in New York. I did go to law school for 1 year at night, but it was a brutal thing, and anyone who goes to law school at night and completes it, I have the most respect for them, because I've been there, done that, and it's very hard. I took 2 years off, went back to graduate school, and did my master's degree. And I worked hard for that, and I'm very proud of it.
What do you do for fun, Joel?
What do I do for fun? Well, I have 2 children and 4 grandchildren. My wife and I like to go to the movies. We enjoy that. Sometimes a concert, depending on who's coming down. We travel. We try to get on a cruise at least once a year. We enjoy cruising. I think they're the most marvelous vacations you can take because they're very relaxing. You can do nothing, or you can do a lot of things on a ship. And we look forward to it.